we have a quorum. We have everybody here. Welcome, by the way. Lousy day to come out, but you know what?
We're used to it.
We are used to it. But now,
Unfortunate.
just every time it happens, we have rain like this, so we all just, I'm sure, say a little prayer that nobody gets it badly. Because it's been a tough year, weather-wise. So, but I'm glad to see you all, in spite of the weather. It is always refreshing. And I wanted to say something in the very beginning so I don't forget it, because I still forget things sometimes now. But I just want to thank the board. You people have done amazing things. You really have. I'm going to get emotional, but you know, it's a very busy time for the board, for attending things, helping out. Helping out the EHS staff with setup and things of that nature. But using time outside of the meetings. And I just want to thank you all. Very meaningful, and it's part of our job, I know, but still, it's new, because with some help from Susan and Anita and other people now, everybody stepped up to the plate and it's helping, so thank you.
I think it's a big too when we have an outing or something happens and we're all there.
Yes.
And we're all participating. It's a big deal for the citizens and the elders to see that
Yes.
we're all part of it and they can ask us questions and talk
First,
to us about anything.
Visibility. and
Trying to
personal-
make it very
Yes.
visible and happy times.
Yeah, it's good.
And
It
thank
is.
you, Sue, for setting us all up, so now we know
Yes.
when we're working.
Yes.
Yes, and that's so much easier, I think, for the EHS staff. Yes.
Well, I figured I could do something to take that off of poor Nicole. She's got enough on her plate.
No, well,
With planning the things that if I could
just
do something to
doing the
help.
scheduling and making the
Yeah.
arrangements is a huge job, and she's always doing it, and she has to plan in advance, so it is so thank you all. I just really want to say that. It's great. Okay, now that I've done that, we do have a quorum, and we have the staff are all here now. Look at who's here. Not Nicole. We're missing Nicole still, but that's okay. I'm just reminding people again, this is an open meeting law. And I will now, we're down to announcements. And I would like to just highlight the fact that the EHS staff, COA board, assessors, select board, everyone has been working on this effort to get the word out about tax relief. Last month, you all received this chart in your broadcaster. And I just want to call attention to 2 dates in October. And one is on October 19th, 5 to 7 p.m., multi-purpose room. There's going to be a free dinner. And you're going to have the opportunity of hearing from the assessors, and I have seen a slide presentation, correct?
Yes, there's going to be
Right.
each one of the items on that sheet are going to be explained in detail as
Right.
to what you need to qualify for an exemption and how you go about applying for it. And it's really important that Amy and Alicia are here, because those are the names that we gave that would be willing to help anybody who calls to get the information out. We were very lucky to have Steve Venuti come and do a PowerPoint presentation with me. And he used to be the treasurer and now finance person, and he's so good at detail on tax relief and tax deferral, and he was able to add a lot to this.
And that's presently on LCTV. They just taped this show last week, so please,
Yeah.
everybody watching, and share this information with your neighbors and with other people to help us get the word out, please.
And Liz, you have it on Facebook as well, correct?
It will be today, yep.
It will be.
So,
Yeah.
just, I wanted to make that announcement because it is so important. And there's a second date in October. One is the October 19th, and that's a dinner, 5 to 7. Then there's going to be on October 25th, a luncheon. I didn't put down the time, 12 to 12 o'clock noon, in the multipurpose room, free lunch. Same presentation, you don't have to come twice. But please, please, please help us get the word out so people know all the great things that are available.
And Kathy in the assessor's office and April in the assessor's office will be available to answer any and all questions. If we didn't do a good enough job, they'll be there to answer questions. And we're gonna have a sheet that will be in front of everybody so that for each exemption, while we're talking, write down your questions. And then there'll be someone there to help you answer the questions. Or make a private appointment and talk to them or our ladies after that.
Okay, thank you. You can mention it again when we do there is on the agenda or an update on that soon you leave, but we won't go into so much depth. But anyway, I just really wanted to highlight that. That's why I chose to mention it. Okay, other announcements from other
Yes.
board members, okay.
On Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Baptist Church is the Memory Cafe. Anybody with memory cafe is more than welcome to attend.
I understand that that has grown since she restarted it.
Yeah,
You have new members?
yeah, we had 4 new ones last time, I
Yeah,
think.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's great.
And also the little food pantry over there.
Yeah.
You can always use some additional
Oh, that food goes. I mean,
non-perishable
Right.
food can all be in. If anyone needs something, go up, check out and see if you need cereal, there's cereal there or whatever.
It goes quickly once it's filled.
It goes
The
very-
contents are gone quickly. So, other announcements for people? Okay, moving on then. To the minutes of the August 14th meeting that Lorelei so efficiently takes care of for us.
She's so good.
She is so good. It's remarkable. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of
I'll second it.
August 14th.
I'll second it.
Anita and Marilyn have made the motions. Do we have any discussion? Corrections or anything that needs to be made? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. Susan?
I abstained, I wasn't present at that meeting.
Oh, that's right, you weren't. Thank you.
You can vote.
She's okay.
I'm okay.
Anita?
Yes.
Yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Lorelei?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
John?
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't here. So you're abstaining, you wish to abstain? Thank you. And Marge is a yes. Okay, I do believe we have 2 people abstaining and the rest of us voted affirmatively, so the minutes are approved. Thank you.
Excuse me, I just got something.
We just took a vote, Marilyn. You
I
didn't
know, I
vote
didn't
for
catch
us.
it before.
Well, now we have to go back. How do I have to do that according to Robert's rules?
Is it spelling or is it?
Well, under members absent, Joe Peachy was not listed.
But I was,
Yes, and he
and I
wasn't.
was here. That's
You
right.
and Sue were both absent last time.
No, I was
No.
here.
Oh,
Members absent, all right.
Should be Joe, not Anita.
it should be John.
John.
John and not Anita.
And John and Sue.
Yeah, not Anita.
Okay.
That's
So
an
we-
easy correction.
All right, so we're going to take another vote. I'm sorry, we have to go back.
And I'm sorry that I didn't get,
Well, thank you for catching it.
present.
Thank you for catching it.
I'll make a motion to accept the
We have to
minutes.
rescind don't we have to rescind our previous vote?
I don't know. We'll just vote on an amended.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
So I'll make
Thank you, Joe.
a motion to vote on the amendment to the August 14th meeting.
The correction
The
with John
correction,
Peachy
yeah.
and Susan Lander.
No, Anita Harding.
You were absent too.
No, I was here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You weren't absent. It was Susan and John that
I
were
was
absent.
absent and Anita was present.
And you were present.
That's the change.
Okay, we gotta get it clear this time. Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to vote on the change. So second vote. Susan, you're not here, you are abstaining. Okay, I got that. Anita,
Yes.
okay. Marilyn,
Yes.
Lorelei,
Yes.
okay, Joe,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
John, are you abstaining? Thank you, and Marge is a yes, so,
I wouldn't,
Okay.
that's when I taught it too.
Okay, that's what I caught it.
thank you. When he voted,
When he
that's
voted.
understandable.
Yeah, yeah, that's when I caught it.
But thank you for being so good and diligent. Thank you very much. Okay, we're down to the director's report. Oh, no, the friends report. I almost skipped right over Sandra and I didn't even welcome her. So come to the microphone,
Oh,
please, even though,
hello.
actually, we're not being televised right now.
So
They're
I have
taping
to
us.
stand up?
Technically, can you hear her without her being at the microphone?
So he needs a
I
microphone
can
for
sit.
them.
We're live.
Oh, we are live now, sorry.
You are live.
I just
Hello.
told a little fib.
Hello.
So
We
you
are
do
live.
have, you
Stay
do
there.
have to stay there.
Stay there.
Okay, so my update for the shop is, it still needs to be painted. We still need wall shelves, but the church has been so generous with floor shelving that that's gonna help a lot. So as soon as it's painted and some things are taken out, we can start moving the fixtures in. Meanwhile, I'm working on the clothing and I'm doing really well separating out the seasons. So as soon as the rooms are ready, we can go gung ho. So I'm still hoping that we can open up mid-October, which I know is really hopeful, but I'm shooting for that date. If that doesn't happen, it'll be soon after that. So, and we have volunteers lined up. I still need a couple more slots filled. And we're doing 2.5-hour segments Monday through Friday. We'll be open 10 to 3, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, we're gonna try 9 to 12. Now that we're not in town hall, which we couldn't be open on Saturday, we're gonna try Saturday for those that are working. So the busiest days we had were Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is why we're doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
10 to 3, you
10
said,
to 3.
is the plan?
Yes, 10 to 3. And then Saturday, 9 to 12.
I can just share with you, I know that I attended a meeting at the church, and there is a date set up for the church to go in, members, to go in and paint.
Yes,
So
the
it's
church has
coming
been
up.
so generous because we didn't have a volunteer from the broadcaster to paint. The church has set up a group to paint for us. But we still don't have any woodworkers out there volunteer to help hang shelves and to convert something, which is now a church pew, into something I haven't imagined. So if somebody out there that's handy with wood that wants a challenge, then please contact the Friends by way of our email. Thanks.
That's exciting. Wow. Are you reporting anything else?
Well, I thought maybe you wanted to report something.
No, I was leaving
No,
that
that's
up
from
to
you.
Oh, okay.
Please.
That's your
Okay.
announcement.
I'll
That is
be
your
short.
announcement.
Okay. Last month, the COA board voted to ask the Friends to help replenish the fund for TRED. And what they were hoping for was $10,000. And at the last meeting that the Friends had, which was the first Wednesday of September, I believe it was September 6th, or was it the 9th? September 6th. We didn't choose to vote that particular day because that was an informational session, pretty much. So we agreed to have an executive session, which we did within the week we agreed on. And we talked about it, and briefly after we talked about it, we took a vote, and it was unanimous, and we granted the COA the $10,000 to replenish the fund for TRED.
Thank
Thank you. That's
You're welcome.
very wonderful, that's great news.
I just thought that you were going to say it,
Oh,
that's the only
no.
reason I didn't say it.
That's
This is
yours.
your day of glory,
Oh.
thank you, that's a huge thing from the Friends.
You have no idea how that's gonna spread around
And that
those
is
20 people that we really need. That's
wonderful.
really,
That's
thank you so
wonderful.
much. As a
Very,
member
very
of the
kind.
TRED Fund,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
It's an excellent cause.
It is,
It is.
it is.
So please extend to all of the friends, members are on the
I certainly will.
directors,
I
should call
certainly will.
our gratitude and appreciation. That's very exciting. Great. So, no, this is your thing. I mean, it was a suggestion that you can consider doing that because you had the funds
Yes.
and there is a need, so. And thank you, board members, we had a great discussion at our last meeting about that need, so.
And maybe this is just something to throw out there to think about. Maybe our board can have a discussion later on to maybe ask the Friends if they couldn't contribute money each year to the TRED fund, whatever the dollar amount might be, but just to every year as a revolving thing that they will donate to TRED
We can
as
discuss
a
it,
discussion, you know?
later on in the future, but I'm overwhelmed.
Yes.
So I'm grateful, so thank you.
Such a chunk.
It is.
It's a chunk.
It is a challenge.
And it just really takes pressure off, because now we know, as Joe so nicely summarized, when we were talking about the funding for the program, the 10,000 would probably meet the need this year, right? At our last meeting. Yep, very exciting. Yeah. Okay, thank you again, Sandra. Are we doing an assistant director's report? Are you speaking for Nicole?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Gonna start with the director's report, if that's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't gonna skip you over. Total.
Oh.
Totally.
Skip right over here.
Not important.
Never would do that.
Okay, so I have up on the screen the stats. The new change that I started for this new fiscal year was to separate out our, how we're tracking our statistics. For the yellow portion at the very top, you can see that those are the duplicated numbers. So those are the amount of times we help an individual. So we're counting them multiple times if they come in multiple times. Same with events. So we had a really high number of event sign-ins in August, 1,041. Our transportation numbers are up to 213 rides in August. We hit a new record for number of interactions for under 60 outreach. And that beats last fiscal year by 14 interactions. And then over 60 was still steady with 566. In terms of the unduplicated numbers, these are the individuals counted just once. So they could have come to us 6 different times in the month, but we're just counting them once. So we see the numbers divided up that way. So 165 unique people came and talked to outreach for one reason or another.
A lot of people,
A lot of folks coming in.
but that's good.
Yes,
It means
we're busy. We're getting back up there.
yeah,
Stop my screen share and go back to, did anyone have questions about the statistics?
no, they're always amazing to me. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I just am overwhelmed when I see them.
I'm happy when I see the number of event sign-ins reach 1,000.
Wait till our new
That makes me
center, our
happy.
new
Yeah.
building is built.
Yes.
That's gonna take off like crazy, I think.
See, the other thing on my list, so we had the Bloodmobile come, Mass General Hospital Bloodmobile. That was last week. A lot of town employees actually participated in that, so I wanted to
Wow.
just let you all know that and thank the different department heads and town administration for letting employees sneak out during the day at some point and get their blood donations done. We had 38 individuals sign up and ended up with 32 donations because sometimes you don't qualify for whatever reason. So thank you to everyone who donated, and 32 donations, many lives saved, so thank you for that. In terms of other donations that we received the $10,000 from the Friends, which was incredible. We also received a $1,000 donation to the TRED fund from Seasons Insurance in right here in downtown Littleton, right up at the Common. Sarah Den is the owner for that, and that was $1,000 to TRED, so that was extremely helpful as well. And then a couple other smaller donations for TRED. We had a $25 donation and a $100 donation information. But
Every
So-
little bit counts.
yes, all of this talking about it, putting it out there, filming, going to Rotary, it's getting the word out there and the donations are coming in. Speaking of that, for TREAD donations, right now in hand, we have 10 completed applications. There are 3 others that Outreach is working on with individuals in the community, and there might still be some lingering out there. We still have 2 weeks left before the deadline for submitting applications. So if you're listening to this and you're working on an application or thinking of applying, please do get that in. We have 2 weeks left. And there is the new requirement this year that you have to check in with the assessor's office to see what else you might qualify for. So we're not just hitting one aspect of tax relief for you.
So if somebody comes in, say, the middle or end of October, and is with Outreach, and could qualify for TREAD, they would still be available, they still would be able to get it, or no? So it has to be October 1st as a cutoff,
September 30th.
September 30th.
September 30th is the deadline. After that, then the TREAD committee can be.
Yeah, but we can't take anybody after that.
So
We'll try to find other ways to help those individuals.
anybody listening, pass that word around as well. This, everything about the tax relief.
Okay, and the last thing on my list was the flu clinic for your flu vaccine. It is October 24th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the middle school. It's not going to be here in room 103 again. It's over at the middle school, October 24th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. 6 months old and up, all ages.
Will we be able to get there, do you think, then?
You're
Yes.
taking your life in your own hands, let me tell you. Maybe you could fly in, because right now, you'll probably, I'm not even going there.
Well, the rain doesn't help anything.
I watched
because-
the buses go by today, and they were like, it's like a roller coaster right now.
Well, the rain doesn't help because
No, the
there's so
rain's
many
not helping.
areas of dirt now.
Right, it's just washing out.
It's just
Yeah.
washed out,
Yeah.
mud. And then every night they dig something else up and leave a big hole, so,
It's, yeah,
it's just,
it's been a challenging time,
it is.
yes, to say the least. Sorry, yes.
You want me to roll right into the assistant director's
Sure,
program
if you don't
report?
mind.
Sure.
Everybody realizes this is now Nicole's, results of Nicole's efforts.
Okay, Nicole got called out today, so she is not here this afternoon, but she gave me her report to give on her behalf. She wrote down that she wrote down that they had a very, very busy summer in terms of programming. They went to all kinds of trips. They went to the Webb's Yarn Store, Tower Hill twice, the Kimball's trip, which we have another one coming up. A very successful spaghetti supper and a Belgian waffle breakfast. We had Lynn Gillies, the illusionist, many different musical entertainment folks come in, an author speaker, our birthday parties returned, all of our lunch and learn opportunities, and we started our elder law attorney drop-in sessions, which is the first Friday of every month. She also wanted to highlight that we had a very well-attended intergenerational program at the Library and Parks and Recreation, and our Eldridge and Arciero cookout was a huge success with over 100 people. So moving forward to the fall, Nicole wanted to share that Restaurant Hoppers returns this month with a new day. It's going to be on Mondays instead of Tuesdays. Our annual Police and Fire Barbecue is coming up on October 4th this year. So that is the big barbecue that we do that's inside the garage bay of the fire department.
Inside with all the trucks.
Yes. There are 2 trips coming up in October, Carlson Orchards and the Fruitlands Museum. The Peachies love that one.
Yes.
Carlson Orchards. And let's see, EHS will have its first Friendsgiving event in November and share a Thanksgiving meal with a Friends-sponsored event, Council on Aging. We have brand new A Spa for You, which is a company, will be coming for the first time in October to offer manicures, pedicures, facials, and massages. And when we put this out, it was booked within 2 days.
Wow, I believe
I wonder
that.
why.
Yes.
But they will be returning again in January and in April of next year. Book Buddies resumes in October and will continue all year through June. So we're going to have signups starting in October for that. It was hugely popular last year. And then this December, we'll have a mitten tree where people can donate purchased or homemade mittens. And these will be taken to the nurse at Shaker Lane after the holiday break and be distributed to kids in need throughout the winter.
Well, that's
That's a good
yeah,
one.
that's a
Little
good,
collaboration. And that's Nicole's report.
it's just amazing that you actually are having problems squeezing everything in because now it's like having that the luncheon moved to Monday, and then you have the knitting group going on from 12 to 2, which, is that time. So anybody that does knitting you gotta pick. It's amazing that you have so many things going on now, really, when you think about it.
And
Yes,
Nicole
and
does-
I mentioned it to you briefly, but I wanted to mention it publicly, that down the road, whenever we can find room, having been a victim of fraud myself this past year, I think it would be good to get, I think his name is Joe, police officer Joe, there's somebody in the police department that is assigned to that, and maybe he would come and do an update, because
Absolutely.
there are so many things going on, and it's so stressful when it happens to you. I've been a victim myself this past few months, so.
He's spoken at the men's breakfast, about 5 months ago.
Yeah.
That's a small group of,
Yeah, but
He's-
5 months ago, and I'm telling you, things
but
change.
that was a small group of people.
Yeah, he did women's
too.
breakfast
But
too,
he-
but
Yeah.
it was
Did
too
the
small a
coffee
group.
hour,
Yeah,
Coffee with
yeah.
a copy did it there,
Mhm.
so.
We had the FBI come in as well.
Yeah, well,
So we-
whenever, so-
But we
Yeah, we'll
still
keep
need
going.
more.
yeah,
Sorry,
just keep
can't say
it
enough.
as he feels and he's able.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention it because, and to just remind people, be careful. It's just overwhelming, yeah. And I don't know about anybody else that's been involved. I know he had told me I had to call and report when my driver's license and my registration of my car got, lost. Somebody got into that. So I had to report it to him and take a report in so he could file a report for me. But anyway, and he said he was a victim himself. So he knows what it's like. It's not nice.
No, it's not.
Okay, enough of that. But thank you. It's overwhelming what is being offered to people.
Nicole actually already has all of next calendar year booked already.
I-
Every month filled.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible.
Yes.
We have to, I guess.
I know.
All right. All right.
Director and assistant director.
Thank you kindly.
That was
And we
great.
have an outreach coordinator's monthly report. Who's coming up to the microphone?
Don't try.
Good.
You're very agile.
Okay, so we just wanted, we have a couple of things. I know we've already talked about it, but the trend deadline in 2 weeks at the end of September, so we just wanted to make sure we mention that again. And then also with SMOC, Fuel Assistance Program, the recertifications should have gone out or should be going out very shortly. We haven't had anybody come in yet with their recertification, so we're just saying if you haven't gotten it by October 6th, if you want to reach out to us, we can certainly, try to reach out to them on your behalf. So hopefully for those recertifications, they'll be coming in shortly, and then new applications, we'll probably get those sometime in October as well for some new applicants. The next thing was the Mass Health recertification, that's still in process. Just trying to get everybody recertified as they're coming off of the pandemic emergency. So that was a big, busy time. Right now, I'm kind of seeing some people who missed their recertification packets and now they're getting termination letters. So we just wanted to remind people to keep an eye out for anything from Mass Health that might be, your recertification, and call us if you need any help with it.
It's a big green envelope.
Yep, usually, yeah. I know, it's hard to miss, but it does get missed for sure.
They get it.
So that's that, and then the last thing was just the open enrollment info session. for Medicare open enrollment. That's on the end of this month, on the 27th of September, with myself. And just for general questions or conversation about Medicare open enrollment or any other Medicare situations or conversations. That's it.
Questions for either one, they're outreach workers? No? Thank you both for all you do, it's just amazing. I say that every month, but it's true. So,
They're always working. You walk in there, they're always on the phone, or they've got someone with them. Very busy people.
well, the numbers uphold that, that's for sure. So, all right, any other questions for our EHS staff in their reports?
I make a motion to accept the director's report, the assistant director's report, and the outreach coordinator's report.
And I will second that.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Just might have popped into your head. Nope. Okay, if not, we will take a vote. Susan?
Yes.
Thank you. Anita?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Lorelei?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Jean? Yes. Mary Ann?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marge is a yes. Unanimous vote. We will accept those reports. Thank you both. All of you.
Excuse me, Marge.
Yes.
Was it Marilyn that seconded the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Marilyn? Jean?
Yes.
Made the motion, and Marilyn seconded.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Whoa, we're down to old business. And the update for you guys, the senior center project is there an update?
There's an update.
Oh, wow. We're still
Oh.
moving along slowly, but we're moving.
We're moving along.
Okay.
From last time we met, there has been 2 meetings with the planning board in regards to this senior center building. We went and for the first meeting, our architect and Drayton Fair and our OPM Brian Fors went and did a brief overview of the project and discussed the site plan review. Within the context of that conversation with the planning board requested some additional information. And in comparison with what the library had to go through, they wanted us to also go through a similar process. So we did have to go back to a third-party, estimator? Yeah, peer
Peer
review,
review.
that's what I'm looking for, with Green International. So that was completed.
That was quick.
That was very quick, yes, Brian Forrest is really good.
That is
Got
good.
right on
That
that.
was good.
Yep, it was much smaller than what the library had to go through because we are not encroaching on wetlands in the same fashion that the library did. So the scope of the peer review was a bit smaller. But that came back and then went to the planning board again last week and they approved the site plan.
Yes.
Subject to, I wrote this down, subject to the site plan review comments being addressed prior to the issuance of the building permit. So whatever Green International commented on in their site plan review, we have to address before we get our permit from the
Well, that's great.
building permit.
I was concerned that that might prolong things a lot longer.
I was, fairly concerned, but very confident.
That's why I went
Brian
to
Forrest
one of
and
the town meetings that Anna Houston managed in the library. I went and urged her to share with the board that we didn't want to wait very long for this to happen. So she
So
was,
we can't go out for bids yet though, right?
no.
we are actually.
Oh, we are?
So
Okay, good,
we,
yes.
last time we met,
Good.
we had finished our pre-qualification of bids, and right now we are in our official bid period. So RFI, so request for information from people who are submitting the bids is due by the 21st, and bids are due by the 28th of this month.
Wow.
So
All right.
by then, by the 28th, we should be able to get all that information together with Commodore Builders and figure out what the guaranteed maximum price will be for the project.
Wow, that's exciting.
I am very excited.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
get
getting there.
moving. We're getting there.
One step closer.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
yes.
Big step, big step.
Yes.
There's a walkthrough on the 26th.
Is there? I know there already was one walkthrough of the tennis court site with some different contractors with our OPM to review in terms of excavation, what would need to happen. So we're moving forward.
I guess we are. That's
Brian is
exciting.
getting a lot of pressure to move forward, not to sit on anything.
Well, yeah, Brian has a lot of projects on his plate.
But I meant he's under a lot of pressure to move this fast, not to wait.
Yeah, we're sticking to the schedule.
Well,
But he's
awesome.
also getting it from PMBC to push. They're pushing too.
well, that's good.
We want everybody pushing the right way,
Yes, yes,
Yes.
we do. It,
in the right direction.
well, it's been a long time.
It hasn't
And
been-
so when something, comes up that seems to be a little, negative
You
and
what?
push. You what? Okay.
Not for TV.
Okay.
No.
But anyway, when something comes up that makes you feel like, okay, wait a minute, you have to just continue to hope that we're gonna move right along.
Well, that
And
peer
so
review kind of scared us,
It did scare me,
that it was gonna take a long time to
because
get
it took
that
the
done.
library quite a while to get it done, so. Anyway, but that's great news.
This is going much more smoothly.
Thank you.
That's also good to hear.
Yeah, it is very good to hear. Thanks, Jean. That's very encouraging. So, all right, exciting news. So pass it out there. Spread the good news when you can. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions for Liz about the senior center? No. They'll be tearing down and there'll be a mess over there for us instead of the sewer. Soon.
Soon it will be our mess and
Yes,
us trying to
it'll be
figure
all
out
our mess.
how
And it
to-
won't bother us so much, probably.
Logistically, I'm not 100% sure what we're doing with our programs and coordinating with
Well,
the
that's true.
library and getting,
It just works out.
it will work out.
It just
It
comes
will be a
together.
little
And you know
hairy,
what,
but
people
we'll
are
get
gonna understand, it'll work out.
Because when it's done, we were guaranteed that our CERC would triple in that library, and it has.
Wow.
Oh,
So
and we
get
know-
ready, your center will be
Wow.
tripling with its use.
Well, we've heard that from other centers in Mass, other senior centers, when they built the new building in that
They're beautiful buildings.
anticipation just jumps. So I hope to see that day and, it'd be so exciting. I know. Okay. So we're down to, I don't know how much senior tax relief update we need. We talked a lot about what's happening in October. Do you have anything else to add?
We're meeting on the Committee for Tax Relief is meeting on the 27th of September. And we're gonna finalize the PowerPoint presentation for both the luncheon and for the dinner. And that's the only thing that we're working on, the committee's working on right now, is to make sure that that's up and ready and that it gets up on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else to get more people involved to come to those particular dinners and luncheons so that we can hopefully help a lot of people. I did hear that people who've gone down for the TRED program to the assessors, they have qualified for exemptions that they didn't know or that they could get, and it turns out they qualify for them. So that's just kind of a big beginning that we hope that of the 1,500 people that are out there that we can help. If we help 100 people this year, it'll be a big, big success. So that's what we're working on, just making sure that all the information gets out to the right people. We are going, Richard and I are going to the selectmen's meeting the first week in October, and we're gonna do the full presentation to them so that all the people who watch the selectmen's meeting will have the opportunity to see it. And
That's
then
great.
hopefully, I know Gary and Chuck have been pushing it in town, talking to people, so it's looking good.
Could you do me a big favor, or us a big favor? And would you please convey to your committee
Yes,
our appreciation and thanks, COA board's appreciation and
Yes.
thanks for everything. It's been great.
And they thank, the committee thanks the COA board for jumping on with us
Yeah.
to push it.
Well, that's,
And
we're
make something
teams,
happen.
we should be teams in town, so, yes, but please do it.
Everybody's working together.
Yeah, no, I think they need to know, and we really appreciate it. And that meeting isn't that far away.
No.
I'll remind you again.
But that's all that I have to say.
Oh, okay, so that's great, thank you. It is very exciting, and it's been really refreshing to see, I think, that kind of participation and collaboration and working together. Okay, so we're down to, where are we down to? That's the senior tax, we're down to new business. Board member updates. Susan? Yeah. You usually have something.
Why do you look at me?
Tell me. She's got a
You're the
lot,
only one who hasn't talked yet.
I know.
It's your turn.
and everybody has been participating, but you have a few hats that you wear here.
Yeah, she
Yeah, I
does.
guess so.
Yeah.
But I also feel in giving board member updates, especially for the Affordable Housing Trust, that I'm on a repeat record here, like I'm a loop. And I say the same things every month because things work slowly in this world, as we all know, right? So, continue the loop.
Okay.
On the Jerky Farm parcel, everybody sort of feels like it's getting close to deed being turned over to the town, and then we see where it happens after that. Nobody's quite sure. That's for a 5-acre parcel that includes the farmhouse, the barn, and 5 acres of land. There's some legal problems with it. There's a problem with complications with the Board of Health and a well and all kinds of other things, but we'll see. We have an Affordable Housing Trust tomorrow evening, so I'll have something more. I'm a month behind at this point. For the parcel of land on Tehadawin, that it is hoped that a multifamily affordable home could be built there. The RFP for that is in the hands of the lawyer, the town council, to go over the wording on that piece. And they have made a gas and a water line cut, so into the property. So that takes care of that one. Then the newest one on the loop is Dean Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Which is in the Cooper Farm complex and constructed by the Fields. And there was some contention with one lot on Dean Lane that was to have been an affordable unit built. And as the end product, the Fields are not building that unit, but they are donating the land to, and that's a question mark. They hope to donate it to Habitat for Humanity. And so an affordable unit could be built there. And the Affordable Housing Trust took a vote to support the planning board in whatever kind of negotiate, because all of this between the Fields have been with the planning board. And at a planning board meeting, not this past one, but previous one, they did have Fields in and they had the discussion about donating it to Habitat. Whether that happens or not, I don't.
It's been a long time in the works.
And that, yes, and then if that is what happens, Affordable Housing Trust will get involved with Habitat or whoever to try to get a unit, an affordable unit built there. It was supposed to be affordable and also, had senior, and it was just affordable. And then, of course, there's also the whole discussion of Foster Street and all of that, that
That keeps on going.
that keeps on going. And the only thing that I got out of the last Affordable Housing Trust meeting was that evidently there will be a total of 150 units built on a parcel there, and 10% of those will be affordable, but not necessarily senior, just affordable,
10%.
10%. Because that's what the town bylaw is.
Right.
And the state controls some of that in terms of what percentage you can ask for. And I think we had a very interesting discussion that was a meeting of Affordable Housing Trust, FinCom, Select Board, and CPC, the Community Preservation, and a discussion there about what funds can be used for what purposes. And
Progress.
that's all my report. I talk about the same places every month.
Well, you know, but
They're
slowly.
getting a little closer maybe.
Well, maybe they're getting a little
Slowly,
closer.
Slowly, a little bit.
Maybe after tomorrow night I'll be closer, so
Yeah.
that.
Anybody can attend those meetings, you know, and
Yes. And the other thing.
and they're
that
on
is-
Zoom.
And the other thing that is discussed at each one of those meetings are the applications for the rental assistance program, because the Affordable Housing Trust approves the funding.
And they're interesting meetings. If you have-
And that's,
they're
that
usually at
money
6,
is CPC
6:30.
money, right?
That money is CPC.
Yeah. The 6:30 starts or 7?
Affordable Housing
Yeah.
Trust meeting, 6:30.
That's what I thought. So they're interesting if you have, and you're not busy, 6:30.
6:30 tomorrow
Yeah,
night,
really.
really sorry.
So
Monthly meetings. That's that.
that's that. Anything else?
No.
Okay, anybody else have anything
You don't
to?
want to admit it. It is, okay.
What do you
Didn't
whispering
look like
about?
it.
That's rude.
I was just telling her, her hearing aid didn't look like it
Oh,
was coming out.
It isn't- it
And I was
isn't
like, maybe you
on
wanna
my
check
list.
it to see, so it doesn't fall out.
It isn't going to fall out. It
All right,
isn't.
okay. We gotta, I don't wanna keep us
Do you
too
want to
late.
close
here,
up
so we
with my
can-
hearing? Yeah. I'm all set with that.
All right.
I was just trying to help.
Do we have any other board member updates? Anything else going on with any assigned?
Yeah, all, the big, almost everything for the whole meeting was the Beaver Brook, the Rotary and
Oh,
all of that, which will take it'll take a long time because the state's involved. So that was primarily everything.
I'm not, on a special committee, but I wanted to mention, because Liz had mentioned it, and I sent a message out about the open space meeting coming up.
Thursday night at the library.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need to have senior needs represented. So I'm planning on trying to be there, and so that we can, if anybody else can join us.
What time?
7 o'clock.
I can tell you, wait a minute, I have to look. Oh, I think I've got it in here.
Did everybody here fill out one of the surveys?
Yes, I did.
I did too.
I think it's at 7. It is
Yeah,
7
it's on
in the
the-
library.
Yeah. This Thursday.
This Thursday.
It's Thursday.
At the library.
At the library, yeah.
I can't remember which room. I don't think it's Sturts. I think it's a different room.
It is Sturts.
Well, you'll find it downstairs.
It's
Yes, just go
downstairs,
downstairs,
yes.
you'll find it
Yes,
if you go. But I think it's important that, safety and sidewalks, and whatever, that those kinds of things, they need to constantly think about for seniors too.
I think they need to concentrate too on nice places for seniors to walk that aren't filled with the roots of the trees and things like that. So we don't fall, and you could fall and
Unfortunately, yeah, but there's boardwalks in some of the areas,
Some of
like
them.
Cloverdale has some boardwalks.
yeah, but it doesn't go
all the way, and then you're on the ground, so it's
Yeah,
uneven,
Then you
it's
have to
hard,
turn
yeah.
around and go back the side.
Right.
Well, I've done that many times.
Yeah. Okay,
Let's just say that, my craft class seems to be growing.
Great.
Yes.
And I am trying to hold it to 20. And we have 2 projects we're doing for our October crafts. So sign up early because I can't. My husband has made 20 wooden pieces and 40 other wooden pieces that are going together to make these big, beautiful pumpkins. And I can't ask him to do more, so we have to keep it at 20, so, and then we have another craft we're doing with it, so look at your broadcaster and sign up really early, because I can't have a wait list.
Okay. All right. Any other updates? If not, we're gonna move along to the rules and regulations, annual review, and I must say, and I said it in my message when I sent this out to you, Jean and Marilyn went over this with a fine tooth comb. Trust me.
Thank you.
But you know what, things, and I didn't realize how many things, little things needed attention until I read it, that what you did, so thank you both. Very welcome. So I'm going to go through it because I understand from everybody that my copy that I sent out with, my copy has red ink, whereas they are recommending changes, or calling, or adding something or whatever, so I'm gonna just direct you, if that's okay. And the first thing that they suggested is on Article 4, voting rights of members.
And we missed the one in 3.
Oh, did,
We inserted a word on 3.3.
I missed it, that's not in red on my end, that's why.
3.2.
3.2.
3.2, yeah, members shall be appointed by the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Littleton. Recommendations for membership may be submitted by the COA to the board.
3.2, not 3.1.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
3.2.
Okay, the nominating committee, get it.
After the words elect, there should be a
Oh.
comma in there.
A comma, I didn't, yes, highlight. That's one addition. Okay,
And on 3.3.
I got the next one, 2.
Okay.
The very,
Yeah.
the next two, the very 3.3, down to the last full line, where it says, calendar year, the COA board shall recommend the appointing authority to, add the word to, dismiss such a member from the COA board. And then the following, now we're to Article 4, thank you, Marilyn.
You're welcome.
4.1. All voting rights shall be vested in the members, comma, and each a member in attendance, comma. No, in attendance, and then add S, shall be entitled to 1 vote with respect to any question or matter that may come before a meeting of the COA. That's a small change. And then another small one in 5.1 right below. And following exceptions, add an S.
Add a what?
S.
Yep, got that.
Got that? And, okay, I don't think I'm missing anything. I go right to Article 6. Is that right, Marilyn?
Yeah.
Okay, and Jean? 6.1, delete. I didn't even
The
notice that.
reason we chose to delete it was because we felt it was redundant.
Well, it is, really. Because if you go on down to where 6.1 is deleted, then you make the next one 6.1.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change, it just says the offices of the COA shall consist of a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and, add a comma there, and a secretary. Okay, and then there's no change in the next one, correct? Now we go down to one that says 6.13. And there's some changes in that one, and it said we have election of officers to fill vacancies created by death, resignation, or other cause may take place at any regular meeting. And then delete for the something shall be for the period of the. So it will read, will take place at any regular meeting. That doesn't,
For the unexpired term.
for the
unex-
unexpired term, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for the unexpired term of the previous incumbent.
Mhm.
Comma, and then,
No, period.
period, I'm sorry.
And
And then delete except that,
Mhm.
then a capital T. The office of the chairperson, if vacated, shall be filled by the vice chairperson for the unexpired portion of the chairperson's
term of office,
term of office. Delete normal.
unless you're on normal.
Sure. And then the number changes, 6.2 changes, right?
Right.
Oh, and then, and that one is that a comma? After committees, right down at the bottom, it says,
Yes.
it's a comma, okay. All right. And just the last page. Oops, the first line. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the previous page and it says, and shall be an ex officio member of all committees. And then delete the following sentence. As a member of the COA, the chairperson shall also have the right to speak and vote on any matter. Well, that's a given.
Yeah.
So that's why they suggested to delete that. And then we go on to number 1. The vice chairperson shall exercise all functions of the chairperson during the chairperson's absence or disability, comma,
No, period.
period, okay, I have a trouble with just seeing those. And then delete, and when so acting, shall have all the powers of and be subject to the same restrictions as those of the chairperson. Well, that's kind of, if you're acting as a chairperson, it's not necessary, isn't that right?
Well, if
Redundant,
you're assuming the role, you're assuming the role.
Yeah,
Right.
That's why we took it out.
You
Right.
don't have to restate what. the
no, it's,
role is.
it's,
Yeah.
and it's not, yeah, I understand that. Okay. That's all of that, and then we go down to number 7.
Yeah.
7.1, at the, delete, next scheduled board meeting, just have it read, at the meeting. Oh, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
Annual meeting.
At the
Meeting after the annual meeting.
meeting.
Okay, well, you have that in red.
After
After,
the annual meeting.
well, you have that in red to delete, so that doesn't make sense. In my copy.
Well, and mine is underlined. It shouldn't be underlined. I told you I was,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay,
to
how do you
learn
want
how
it to
to
read?
do it.
How do you want it to read?
at the meeting after the annual meeting, comma,
At the meeting, after the annual meeting, comma,
the incoming chairperson with the assistance of the COA board
keep,
staff.
so keep that. Okay,
Shall we
that's
do-
the only change in that
That's
paragraph,
it.
right?
Mhm.
And then you're going down to Article 8, and there
Wait,
should be,
Scott, can I have a, just?
Oh, I'm
ask
sorry.
a clarification on that?
Yeah.
So the annual meeting is the first meeting that we have at the start of the new fiscal year. So normally that would be a
July.
July meeting, but if we don't have a July meeting, it would be at an August meeting. So that's the annual meeting. The meeting after the annual meeting is when we would do committee assignments. and- Okay,
which I didn't do this year. Bad me. I haven't been to
I
that
think we
yet.
all kind of took on what we
Yeah,
had to do
I know,
anyway.
I know that, so, but we need to
that
just
makes,
cut to
no,
that.
that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
Right.
because the new chairperson
Has
has
to
some
have a
time
meeting.
to
reorganize
figure
and
out.
just double
Right,
check
right.
and see what's going on.
So at the annual meeting, we reorganize with officers. The following meeting, we reorganize committees.
Everybody.
Right.
Perfect, okay.
At one point in time, the COA board used to have subcommittees, and we've been functioning without those, and doing well without that. And that was a pain in the neck, because you had to post those meetings and all that.
No, that was just, I was trying to get it
Yes.
clear in my head.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm good with it.
Okay,
Don't worry.
so we're down, where am I?
We're down to 8.
Down to 8. And where it says Article 8, I have two little, like equal, 2 bars there. What's that for? It's in red.
They need to come together, so.
Too big of a space.
Too big of a space, okay. And then in 8.1, this is the last change, but not, that I see. I 8.1, the very last line, where in the middle, where it says, the town administrator shall directly supervise the director and conduct the performance appraisal of the director. And they had suggested that we delete with input from the chairperson or designee of the COA. I have a problem with that,
So do I.
because this was put in at the time when the change, I've been on the board long enough, when Keith Bergman changed the structure. And at that time, when I first joined the board was supervising the director of Elder and Human Services.
Mhm.
And it was all changed. That was not appropriate. The board does not supervise. The board works with the director and supports the director. However, it has been nice to have the administrator at least ask the chair of any input they might have about the director for the director's performance appraisal. It doesn't mean they have to listen to it or anything, but at least, because I think that his feeling was, he wanted to reflect the fact that they work together, and therefore, that you can just make suggestions, like, say, everything's great, she's great, he's great, whatever, but, so I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's a great thing to have.
The reason that we say it should go is because I'm looking at it basically from an employee of the town,
Okay, that's good,
okay?
you can speak for her.
As an employee of the town, our reviews are done by our, department heads or whatever. And in some departments, like the library, their trustees do our director's review. They have the power to do that.
Mhm.
Just like the school committee is assigned powers to do the review of their people. But the COA board here does not have that power. And to have someone I feel that any good town administrator would know
Enough.
that by watching our meetings that are broadcasted, the great job, how we feel about the director. So therefore, I really have a problem with people who don't have the authority to have any part of someone's review. I'm just protecting that as an employee.
Well, those are good points.
If I can go back to,
Yes.
some of this dates back out to almost 2006, I think, when the Town Government Study Committee did a review. And that's where Keith comes in, and we tried to change our type of government being all spread out to have someone who has the most supervision without having a town manager.
Right.
But we strongly felt at that time it was so important, whether it's the planning board or somebody else, that the board still have some kind of input on those reviews. So that's I think where it came from. At that point, that's an opinion of that committee. It does date back to 2006, but that's when we,
About that time,
because at one point, I can remember coming into this town hall, if I went to the planning board, there would be a sign on the door, gone for the day. But was that type of thing. Everyone was so spread out and everyone was working individually. So to make that change, but still have those boards have some kind of connection input, that's why we tried to leave that in there. That's why it was done.
And the way I look at it, it's if that stays in the way it is, the COA board is not doing the director's review. The director's review every year is done by the town administrator. If the town administrator says, well, Liz, I want you to do X, but I'm gonna ask the chair if she sees an easier way of doing it. That's how I see direction from us to Liz. I don't see that we would have anything to do in the role of evaluating her.
We don't supervise it.
Not at all.
No.
Liz's review is town administrator's
Mhm.
job, and that's where it stays. We don't have anything to say about that, but the town administrator might want to ask us somewhere down in the future, well, I'm thinking of asking the director to start doing X. Do you think that's a good idea? More than being an evaluator of her.
I don't even know.
That's how I look at it, and I don't even know if the town administrator would ever do that. But leaving that in, I think, gives that option, that's all.
This also gives the opportunity, when we went to that meeting in Fitchburg,
Mm-hmm.
we saw so
You're
many of
right.
those boards say,
Oh, yeah.
our executive person, we have no contact with, they're doing things on their own. And I just feel, and yeah, that's not the case here, but I'm saying that little statement right there does allow this board to have someone to come in and say, have some kind of, even if they mentions it to the town administrator, this is what we feel. The town administrator can still do the review.
Oh, it's
But-
gone.
but
And
we-
you can still say, I
but
don't
we
care
had
what
that-
you think.
That's
But
exactly right.
we had that small chance to say something that's what's going on, so.
I think that's why, that was my feeling back when it was put in, that it was just a way to keep the connection and the working together, but no, there's no authority there, there's nothing that says he has to, say, I have never done this, but say I disagreed, and I said, I can't stand her, or, something,
Yeah, to
Yeah,
have some,
that's crazy.
since the board does have to work very closely with the director. To
It's
have-
evident.
Right, and to have something in here that says we should be giving some input or some feedback to the town administrator. Yeah, he's the one in charge of definitely doing the review, but we at least have a avenue to have some feedback.
So I don't know, that's,
I think you're talking about a review, which is done yearly and
Mhm.
expected and has to be done.
Mhm.
And then you're talking about a line of communication from this board to the administration.
Mhm.
Not necessarily just on a review, but on other,
on everything.
On everything.
on everything. I really feel that the review should be, not part of that. Speaking as an employee, point of view, this is the way I really,
I can understand that, and having been on the personnel
Okay,
board with
right.
you and how the reviews are done and the different boards who do have power to make a decision, like your library trustees can do things, and this board certainly can't do anything. We don't have the power to do anything. So maybe this needs to be separated
correct, from a
into
review.
two separate little things that say, that the town administrator supervises the director in conduct of performance. He's the one that's gonna tell her what her review is, period. And then put in a section after that the chairman of the board does have the opportunity to speak to the town administrator, and give input where we feel is
Well, we-
needed. It doesn't necessarily mean that the town administrator is gonna go in that direction. He may say to Liz, I don't want you to do all these lunch and learns anymore because there's no need for it in her review. And we may feel, because of all the people that helps, we wanna keep that in there. So that's different than her actual review,
Correct.
but it still allows the board to be able, I don't like the look on your face, what are you thinking?
My face is neutral.
Well,
No, when I
You're an
said
employee
that,
of the town.
when I said
How do
that,
you feel about your
there was a look on
review?
your face that you don't wanna go in my direction, and that's fine.
Well, let me make one point, just hit me. The title of this article is, it is the article, Staff Employment and Supervision. And so it's talking about supervision, and so from that point of view, shouldn't be in there, but we could put in a statement about our relationship with the town administrator,
And we should,
with whatever, we
and
could.
that should be separate from staff and.
Correct.
employment
Correct,
supervision.
that's why all of a sudden the title hit me and I thought, oh, well, you know what, that doesn't belong in this section anyway.
Right.
really. Yeah.
What do you have to say, Liz? What's Liz's opinion?
Well, I'm sure you've probably experienced this in the past. It's really especially difficult when you are reporting in one fashion or another to multiple people. I would prefer to have my performance appraised by my supervisor.
Right,
That makes sense to me.
makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the way it is.
With
That's the way it is,
boards
yes.
change and turn over, and I have the
Right.
best board in the town right now, but that might not be the case in the future.
Right, but maybe there needs to be something in there about the function of the board. Maybe we need to have a separate something in there if we feel strongly.
I think the communication between the board and the town administrator doesn't necessarily have to lie within staff
No, it shouldn't.
employment.
Within
and
supervision.
It
supervision.
shouldn't, that was my
Right.
point, so
Yeah.
that makes this inappropriate
Yeah.
anyway. You're right.
Yeah, you read the
So I
title.
think I'm gonna suggest that we delete it,
Delete it.
but then we think, we can vote on what we've done.
Mhm.
And then think about this, do we wanna add
A
anything,
section.
something about our relationship with the town administrator
Yeah, it's a separate thing.
as a separate thing?
But
Okay.
before we vote on it, I do have a question for Liz. And Liz, it ties in with the very last sentence on 821. It says, and maybe this should come out, the director
Oh.
shall provide a
Budget
budget
update.
update at every monthly meeting of the COA.
And
We
you know
haven't
what,
done
And
it. We don't do
we-
that.
we
that was,
questioned that, and we said, you know, she doesn't, but is she supposed to or what?
no,
Maybe we should just take that sentence out.
well, let me just explain that to you, because these rules and regs were written years ago.
Mhm.
And over time, back when I joined, there was a treasurer, because the money was also managed by the board. Oh, really?
That's true, right?
And that was totally taken out and removed when the reorganization took
Mhm.
place, so that should be removed. Right. And there's no reason we have to look at the budget. Really.
So
We,
that's,
she keeps us up to date on things anyway.
yeah, but not the
Well,
budget.
see, we talked about it, but wasn't sure where it stood.
I suggest that
And
it
then-
just be removed.
Yep.
Good, okay.
But dating back, and I understand everything you're saying about the evaluation, but of course, I'm going back in time. But when the change was made, there were a number of people that were on this board that were upset because it was now being called a completely supervisory.
Non-supervisory, just a
Non-
Just a
supervisory.
supervisor.
Non-supervisory.
Non-super,
Yeah, it was being changed to that.
right.
And once again, one of the reasons this was put in was just to have this board have some kind of input.
And that's because Bob Stetson was on the board and he was the treasurer and he did a great job.
I'm not,
I
I'm
remember that.
not talking about the last sentence,
Oh.
because that's completely different. I'm just talking about the one that you want eliminated.
No,
I'm just coming from the point of,
eliminating the
Joe, we're
last
not eliminating it, we're taking it out of staff employment and supervision. This board
Right.
has no
Okay.
authority, but we're bringing in another section that allows this board's input,
To the town administrator.
open communication to the town administrator.
if that's the case, and we have that in writing, then I'm fully in favor of it.
Yeah, we don't have that in writing yet.
If we don't have it in writing, I
Not yet.
don't eliminate, don't vote to eliminate until we put something in.
What did you
Oh,
want
well,
to
it,
say?
it won't go into this section anyway, it has to go
It's
into
not
a new article, what we're gonna add. So we need time to write that maybe they can come up, do a draft for the next meeting. I would like to vote on the changes that we've approved though so far, so we can get this done. And then go
Well,
back.
that's fine with me, and once again, I
Okay.
understand where you're coming from, I just,
Yeah,
I'd still go back to all the work that was done before, and I hope.
I agree, you were around, I was around then too, but I was new kid on the block, I wasn't, at that time.
Well, that's why my note to you said,
Yeah.
we appreciated all the work that had been done. And we were just updating it and correcting it.
Sue has
Sue,
something. Oh, I have something to throw into the whole mess.
What number?
Well, just a second, into the whole discussion. If these are the rules and regs for the COA board, that whole last article, whatever it is, whatever number it is, Article 8, I guess it is. I think that whole thing needs reworking.
Because for in 8.2, we're writing almost writing the job description for the director. And should that be in there for rules and regs for the COA board? I mean, we're talking about when we have an annual meeting, when we choose our officers, our voting. We shouldn't be telling the director that manage day-to-day operations, supervises staff, develops programs. I mean, that's her job. That's her
But
job.
it was put in there to make it clear.
Well, I know
Yeah.
it was, but now do we?
We need it now.
Yes, we
Should-
do,
I
because
think we do.
it's not needed right now. She understands, we all understand.
Well, she's an employee of the town, and that's her job, and her job description with the town and the town administrator. We're a periphery out here.
This question, was this included at one point in the past to clarify roles, so there was no overstepping of boundaries within those
It
different
was,
roles?
yeah, it was to clarify way back when things were not working well.
When that
This
whole
was put in
transition,
when that transition took place because there were problems on the board. And I think Keith wanted to make it clear what your job was, and
who supervises you?
yeah, because it was really a mess way back then. And like Joe said, it took some time to get that straightened out, and,
It was a big deal. They
It was
brought
a
in
really big
mediator.
deal.
He brought in a
you know,
mediator.
Keith really
even
did a
to-
lot.
I don't have a problem with 8.2.
Pardon me?
I don't have a problem with the way it's done.
No, I don't either.
8.2.
8.2, I don't have a problem with it either, because I still think it needs to stay there, because we've come a long way. This is a great board, and we work well with, and we
But
understand our
someday it might
role.
not be.
But it
Come
was
on.
not,
I
it
don't
was.
have any right to say any of that.
I think it's, we're just repeating something already said in a job description.
Mhm.
Well, that's true, maybe.
And the only action that I see as a board of relevance that we get from anything is that she acts as a liaison, well, no, not even that either. She works with the COA chairperson to develop meeting agendas. That's her role to this board.
That piece, okay.
That's
So
fine.
we could, as far as stating what she does, we're just restating, like you said, anything that you can read anywhere, a job description.
Well, that's true, but I think he wrote this, I do believe.
Yes, Keith wrote it.
Keith did, went to make sure to make it. You
We
mean,
shouldn't have in our rules that.
this has to leave,
Here's the budget.
excuse me,
That's a job description.
you have to leave, right?
I think that.
Yeah, I know.
whole-
No,
Yeah, I
you're
think
just
so.
stating
Yeah,
what
you
your
have to leave.
Has to be
Yeah.
rewritten.
job
I
is
do
to
too.
do.
So,
Yeah.
look, we have to, people have to leave.
So why don't
They
we
need
go,
Why don't, what I
Gee,
would,
why
what I'm
don't you
suggesting,
and I try to redo Article 8 in its entirety, see what we
right,
need, what we
change
want.
we
Why
vote
don't
on everything down to 8
Correct.
today. And then 8 will be discussed at our next meeting.
that's what I'm suggesting, I would like to
Okay.
suggest too, because I know people have to leave. So, and I think we can do that easily. We can change, make it, all the changes through Article 7, and then
Mhm.
revisit Article 8 next month.
Right.
I
Good
move
idea.
that we accept all the changes up through Article 7,
Thank you.
and that Article 8 will be rewritten or will be addressed at a future meeting.
I second that.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
I don't know what to do.
All right, Susan, since you
Yes.
made the vote,
Yes.
you made the motion. Anita,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Lorelei,
Yes.
she's there still, she's there, okay.
She did.
Joe,
Yes,
Jean,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
John,
yes.
and Mark, yes. Okay, so we're good to go. We'll make the changes up through Article 7, and then we'll come back to Article 8 and see how we want to do it. I agree with that too.
And maybe
Things
that's
change.
very messy.
All right, thank you, but if you hadn't, thank you, ladies, because you did a lot, and it really, yeah.
Myself, and trying to figure
Okay.
it out.
Okay. Do we have any other business that needs to come before our board today? Pardon me?
No public in the
No
webinar.
public, okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I didn't ask you, but you would have told me anyway, I know you would have.
That's what it is.
The 9.
Um,
That's what it was. If there was someone there.
Okay, so, no public input, and there's no other business to come before the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn at 4:20.
Adjourned. Okay, Marilyn, who's seconding?
Second.
Second, Susan. And Marilyn. All right, any other discussion about that? I doubt it,
I don't want to adjourn.
but.
She's staying all night.
I am waiting for some board to make a motion to adjourn it and have somebody say no.
We want to stay in place.
Yeah, I mean.
I know somebody that might do that, but I'm not.
I do too, but we're not going there.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so we'll take
Let's
our
not go
last
there.
vote of today. Susan, you
Yes.
made that motion. Anita,
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Marilyn, this is a motion to adjourn. Lorelei, yes.
Yes.
I see her. Joe?
Yes.
I saw the mouth. Jean?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Marge. And so we are adjourned. Thank you, this was a great meeting.